Hello, this is Peter Brehm for Brehm Vineyards, and here we have a view of a trellis of Concord grapes. But Concord grapes really aren't what grows on this site. What grows on this site is Zinfandel, Edon Knoll Zinfandel. And I'm here with Dora and Fred, who are the proud owners and caretakers of the vineyard. Dora has been with this particular ranch for a few years, and I'd like Dora to explain a little bit about her history and her family's history on the property. You mentioned, Dora, that your family came from Tuscany?
Yes.
And about when was that?
Oh, heavens, in the late 1800s.
Okay.
Yeah, in the 1800s.
And they came up the Russian River Valley. Did your grandfather initially come here, or did he go into San Francisco and work his way up?
He came over from New York. He landed in New York, and then he came out here to California. And he met, some Italian people, and they introduced him to different, locations of property. And he ended up buying this 1,000 acres called the McClure Ranch at the time. And then they planted it in grapes.
Now,
mainly.
this is, we're located on what they call Talmadge. It's sort of
Talmadge.
the north end of the Talmadge Bench, which runs along the east side of the Russian River before the town of Ukiah. And you were born here?
I was born and raised on this ranch, yes.
And let's see, your grandfather came up, and then your dad and your uncle.
Yeah, he sent for his family in Italy, one at a time, and there was 8 brothers. I mean, 8 in the family, children. There was 5 brothers and 3 girls, 5 boys and 3 girls. And of course, my grandmother.
Okay.
And they liked this ranch, and they just developed it. It was all, my mother and my dad said that at the time where we're sitting right now, it was all nothing but brush, just trees and everything. So they cleared it all up, cut everything down, cleared it, and planted vineyards and made homes for each son. My uncle had have a house on the ranch.
Okay.
On the 1,000 acres.
Now they were functioning before Prohibition then.
Yeah.
And there's a big building down below. Was that the winery before Prohibition, or did that come after?
No, that when they had so much grapes, and the wine business was becoming very popular. The wines, they decided to make a winery and sell their own wine, and they did have a label for Bartlemy Brothers Winery.
Okay.
Wine, and they sold it and made the winery and made the grapes. I mean the juice, and sold the wine to. I remember my dad taking the grapes to the railroad right here to come over to Talmadge, and shipping the grapes to San Francisco, and then they would go back east. The grapes.
Go back to Chicago and New York.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember that.
And you've told me stories about you having to go out here and work the harvest and work the.
Yes, how many grapes I picked. Yeah, I worked in the heat of the day. We didn't work just half a day. We worked full day, and it was hot. It gets pretty hot up here, as you well know, Pete. And we all worked out in the vineyard and picked the grapes, come rain or shine.
You have tractors then, or still using horses?
They had horses, and then of course they bought the tractors, eventually.
Okay.
And we picked them in boxes. First it was the lug boxes, and then we picked them, I remember picking them in the great big boxes. And I had to drag those out to the end of the row. Of course, my uncles or my dad they'd stack them up at the end of the row, and then they'd have the truck come by and load the full boxes of grapes that we had picked onto the truck, and then they'd haul them wherever they were going to be shipping them.
Okay. Now, I just purchased a little bit of these grapes. I've purchased them also in years past from various parts of the vineyard, but the part of the vineyard we call as Edon Knoll, where we get the Petit Syrah and the Zinfandel. How old are those vines?
Oh, Pete, how old are they? Oh, I'd say they were planted, gosh, I don't know, but I don't know what to tell you.
Well, you were born in the house right here.
Born and raised in the house, and that was in 1924, and they planted them with Golden Chassel, as you all know, and then they tea-budded them to the Zinfandel, and then of course the Petits, they didn't tea-bud those. But I'd say they were at least, they're over 50 years old, or 70 years old.
Yeah, well, if they were here when in 1924,
yeah,
then
that's more than 70. I'll tell you.
That's more than 70.
Yeah.
And they're still.
But I don't know if they had them planted then. As far as I can remember, there was nothing but grapes here.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Well, they look like good old vines, and they certainly produce some great wine for the winemakers. I know that they've been.
That's what they say. They like and we don't irrigate them or anything, like most people do.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just good old-fashioned Italian grapes, I guess. way of growing them.
Right. Well, you're in the hands of nature.
Yeah, that's true.
And Fred basically is the man who does a lot of the pruning of those grapes. You prune those grapes, Fred?
I did. I quit doing it. I just do some of it, not a lot anymore.
Not a lot anymore. I know up until a couple of years
ago.
I
do a half acre, and then I go down and I help him prune the new ones, but I want to watch him what he does.
Right.
Because I learned, but there's a lot of times, even if those guys are really good pruners, they still make mistakes according to me. I'm a fanatic pruner, and I told him, I said, when you prune the two eyes, I don't like three eyes, two eyes, make sure that eye is on top. And make sure it's on the bottom. Because if it does, it juices out and goes over. If it's on the bottom, it juices out and goes down and kills the eye. And it does a lot of it like that.
It will happen.
Oh, I didn't know that. I said, yeah, that's why I prune like that. I prune three eyes if I have a problem with that.
Right.
But on a weak vine, I want to leave one eye around the whole thing till it gets strong. But the way I do it. But I watch them. I watch them prune, and I stay close to them and watch them how they do that. And a lot of times they leave more than I is supposed to. I have to go back there and re-prune it.
Well, we'll be seeing some pictures of the vines, and certainly your care comes through, and people will be able to taste that, I'm sure.
Sometimes they leave four eyes, so I don't like that. And then they prune like it's, what's that grape over here, Chardonnay? They leave a big long, and one of those guys think that's the way you're supposed to prune all the time. Well, I have to go along and cut them all off. Yeah. Because that's no good. I just do the best I can. But I made this vineyard as better as it's ever been. I know that, without having any water.
Right.
But I made a mistake this year. I did make a mistake. I should have had Brehm, when he did a disking, I should have had him deep gouge it down. With four, go down about 2 feet, and that brings the water up. I didn't do that this year. And I should have done that, but this year I'm going to do that this year. But it depends how much rain we have.
Right. Well, we did have a little bit of rain this past spring, so it helped out quite a bit. Well, here we are, Edon Knoll. Life is good underneath the arbor, and we'll take a look at the vineyard very shortly. Thank you. Thank you, Dora. Thank you, Fred.